Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everyone. So, welcome to the Global Truth Center. I want to start by welcoming everyone who is here today and everyone who is here today online. And we wanted to start today a little bit differently. So, and we did definitely want you all up on your feet. Even if you're at home, you might want to get up. We live in an amazing world. We can pay attention to the things that divide us, or we can pay attention to the things that unite us. And today, as we celebrate the 4th of July, we choose to celebrate and to focus on those things that unite us as one country, one world. So my husband, Kevin Bailey, will begin by singing.
So you all know this song, but I want us to have a different take on it today. I want us to approach this song in a prayerful, meditative way, which might, I hope, allow us all to wrap our minds and intention around the words, which easily go by us if we sing this same song as an anthem. So you can keep your eyes open, or if you want to approach this as I'm going to in a prayerful way, that is also very appropriate. Let these words be a prayer. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside us and guide us through the night with a light from above. From the mountains and the valleys to the oceans white with foam. God, please bless America, our home, sweet home. Oh God, bless America, our home, sweet home.
Hold on to me as we go, as we roll down this unfamiliar road. And although this weight is stringing us along, just know you're not alone. Why is that? 'Cause I'm gonna make this place your home. Settle down, it'll all be clear. Don't pay no mind to those demons, they fill you with fear. The trouble, it might drag you down. If you get lost, you can always be found. Just know you're not alone. Why is that? 'Cause I'm gonna make this place your home. Here we go, everybody. Woo! All right, settle down. Here we go. Settle down. It'll all be clear. Don't pay no mind to those demons, they fill you with fear. If you get lost, you can always be found. Just know you're not alone. Why is that? 'Cause I'm gonna make this place your home. Here we go. Okay, everybody. Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for participating in God Bless America. It's interesting because, when Kevin asked me about this, could we do this today? And I know that for some people, God is a very divisive word. And yet, for us, we understand what God means, what this beautiful energy of love that we all live in and as. And even America, because really, we should be singing God bless the entire world, the entire universe. But there is something, too, reminding ourselves where we live, who we are, that we are Americans, and that we bless this entire country, not just the red or the blue states, but all states. It's called the United States of America. So certainly as we celebrate freedom today, Reverend Liza finally got here. Good. Yes. Who was at the party yesterday? Raise your hand. What a great, and again, I want to say thank you to my husband who did everything for that party. Everything. I did one thing. I vacuumed the house. That was it. He did everything else, so thank you. You did an amazing job. And I love that we come together as a spiritual community, not just today on Sunday, but all the events that we do, all the fundraisers and the fundraisers and the events we do. We come together as a spiritual community to do one thing and one thing only. What is that? To know that right where I am, God is. See that? What? Party. That's what I was waiting for. We come together to partay. Is anybody here for the first time today? If you're here for the first time today, please stand up. Jade. Okay, good. Just making sure nobody on this side. Okay, tell everybody your name. Michael. And you are here with who? Genevieve, yes. So, Michael, welcome. Stay standing if you would. And you are Jade. Yes, and where are you from? Calabasas, okay. Michael, what do you do? A financial editor. Excellent. And what do you do, Jade? I book appointments at Kaiser. Ooh, you should all get to know her. She books appointments at Kaiser. So, Jade and Michael, I'm going to ask a question, see what you hear, okay? We come together every Sunday as a spiritual community to do one thing and one thing only. What is that? Ooh. Jade, what you hear? Okay, Michael, what'd you hear? I thought it was party. That's how she got you here, right? Good, okay. No, it is that right where I am, God is. Because what we celebrate is that God is inherent in all things. And it's in nature, it's in the ocean, it's in the planets, it's in you, it's in me, it's in all of us. How's that sound? You want to celebrate that today? I think that would be a fun way to celebrate. So we just want to say thank you for you coming here. Join us downstairs afterwards. All of you, join us downstairs after service where breakfast is being served today as the first Sunday of the month. And we have a present for you. Do you have them? They're out of the table. Okay, so Karen will give you a little thing here. If you fill that out, we have a new book for you, just came out, called Best Vacation Ever, because we are focused on partying at this center. It's an amazing book by Thor Shallgren, one of our soon-to-be new practitioners here at the center, and you're going to love the book. And thank you for joining us today. Okay, we also remind ourselves every Sunday of our vision statement. Y'all ready? Yes. Love forgive everything, remember who you are. So right now, those are really beautiful words on beautiful plaques that Reverend Eric Overholzer created. But the words have to come to life, don't they? They really need to come to life in your life, in my life. So let's just say them all again individually. Okay? So that means when you live your life, you focus it from a loving perspective, and you're willing to throw love on everything. That means everything, which means everything. Everything. And? Forgive everything. Well, this is the forgiveness corner. To forgive everything. Well, our theme this month is going to be very inherent in it. To forgive everything means that you walk through your life very light. You're not holding on to crap. Anybody still holding on to stuff? Let it go, Marty. Let it go. Right, just like Frozen, just as in Frozen. Let it go. No, but it's true. Forgiving everything means you've given yourself the opportunity, Reverend Kirby, right, to just let go of all the stuff that has accumulated over the 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 years. Joe is in her 90s, so that we've accumulated. So now's the time. Wouldn't this be a great month if you just let go of everything? How many people would like to let go of everything this month? Just walk through life with so much lightness. Yeah. Okay, so that's forgive everything. And then, of course, the most important part is, and I'm going to talk a lot about that today. So I'm going to invite up my friend and colleague, Craig. So at this time of the month, the first Sunday of the month, we light the candles of faith. But we're not going to do that today. And intentionally we're not going to do that today. Because one of the things I realized, and I've been helped to realize, is that there are so many religions in the world. To pick out just a few is kind of it slights all the other paths. And also, because we need to focus on who we are. I don't want to say religion, because Ernest Holmes never meant to create a religion. He did not want to create a new religion. He wanted to find the truth in all religions, and then create a philosophy around that, a way of living, a way of navigating life from love, as love. So rather than celebrate all individual religions, today, in our Sunday of Freedom and celebrating the 4th of July, I'd like to celebrate Ernest Holmes and what he brought into light, which is the truth that we are all one, and that we are all part of this magnificent thing called God, life, love, whatever you want to call it, and that one can find that in any spiritual path. And it's personal to each, subjective to each. But in the objective viewing of it all, it's just love. So Craig is going to light that candle for you today, each one of you, to put your mind, your intention on love, loving yourself. So make a decision today. Why are you here? Decide what you want to get out of this beautiful celebration of love today, as Craig speaks some words of wisdom to take the energy in this room even higher.
Thank you, Dr. James. It's just to stand here in this moment, in this presence, to be allowed to speak on behalf of all the consciousness radiating in this room. It's a privilege. A privilege to know what we all feel so intuitively, what we all know is that there is presence, consciousness, universal intelligence. We can call it so many things, God. And recognizing that that is my animating force, my reason for being, my being itself. And in that being, taking this moment to know how perfect this moment is. How each and every consciousness connected here through the sound of these words, whether it's the vibration in the air in this room or the electronic vibrations translating into vibrations elsewhere all over the world, there's a fundamental truth here that this moment unfolds perfectly, it unfolds directly, it unfolds without any resistance or hesitation into a full-blown expression of joy and love. And that is just so wonderful to know, that I just want to say thank you to all and every and each, and surrender into that knowledge and celebrate it as we do by saying those words together. And so it is.
It is. Thank you, Craig. Thank you. And stay right where you are. Just take a deep, not you, them. You're good. They can stay where they are. You should go to your seat. Take a deep breath, everyone. Please join me. So we do have a new theme this month, which Craig and I will talk about momentarily. But right now, I'd like you to really give some thought to what is yours to surrender, to let go of. And Carol and I will take you through a bit of a meditation. So take a deep breath. Close your eyes, let it go. I surrender. I trust and I know that as I surrender, I fall into the arms of love. So as you move through this quiet time, just allow yourself to let go. Let your body go, let your shoulders drop. Let the weight of the chair hold you. Let the weight of the world hold your being. There is nothing for you to do, nothing for you to be, just something for you to allow. Just breathe into that. I surrender. I trust and I know that as I surrender, I fall into the arms of love. Breathe with me now. Gently let it go. Open up your heart to what it needs to know. Everything you know. The wisdom of the wind, the echo of a sky, the truth within your soul, asking you to fly. Let your spirit fly. I surrender. I trust and I know that as I surrender, I fall into the arms of love. I fall into the arms of love. Take another deep breath. Really deep. And just let it all go. And let's say thank you to Carol. Thank you, Carol. You know, at any moment in any day, no matter what's going on, you have the capacity to take a breath. Most of us hold our breaths in those moments, but you have the gift of just taking a breath. And when you take a breath, you go back to our third part of our vision statement. Remember who you are. And I guarantee you, if whenever anything came up in your life that challenged you, you took a breath, remembered who you were, your next response would be very different than that first response you might have had when you just responded. So, come on up, Mr. Lincoln. So why don't you tell us all, well, we all know now, but what is our theme this month?
Surrender.
And what do you think of the image?
I'm
Speechless.
speechless. Yeah.
Dr. Lori Savage and I were going over all the images he sent me for this, and I was like, I like the idea of a watermelon for the 4th of July.
All right, I got that.
And then I love the idea of dissolving into a watermelon.
That's a little deeper.
I know, right? With a hat on.
I'm starting to get it.
You getting it now? So it's like everything it's protected and free and love and there's fruit. This is one of my favorite images she's come up with. So when you see it, what do you think?
I think I wish I had an inner tube and was wherever that person is.
Yeah, right? Isn't it good? So what do you think about this idea of surrender?
You know, I knew you were going to ask me that.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah, and I thought about a lot of there's different approaches to it, but I think the first thing for me is, yeah, of course, surrender, let go with the flow. And that's such a positive message, and we all know that message, and we hear and talk that message. But sometimes I find surrender sometimes can feel like giving up.
Yep. That's a misunderstanding of it, or another interpretation of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the question is, if I'm in those moments where I don't, I feel like I'm like surrender in battle, right? We talk, that's where that word, at least I don't know if it comes from, but it's certainly we surrender, we're done fighting.
Yeah, yes.
And of course that sounds like losing, right? So when the question is, what am I doing battle with in my life that I can surrender to without feeling like I'm letting go?
Yeah, and what's so important to win? I mean, this whole thing between winning and losing, when you understand that life is always unfolding perfectly, you're never winning or losing, you're just participating.
That's true.
Now, I want to ask you,
Yeah.
as a diver, most of you know Craig won the
Bronze medal
in the Munich Olympics for diving. So there's got to be a certain amount of surrender to what goes on up on that platform.
I didn't even think about that, but that is so true. That is so true because it was a competitive sport, and
there are winners
and losers.
And losers,
right?
Yeah.
There's winners and losers, and I'm in this unique place of being both with respect to my Olympic experience.
Right.
And I was a winner, and then I got to stand on the Olympic podium and have a medal put around my neck and stand up and feel it bounce and see the United States flag going up. But I was also third place in a big diving meet. And, and so that's not something I would mention to people that I know who were like fourth place and fifth place.
Right.
But there is an element of both. And I think the element of surrendering to, it's not about the outcome. It's about the performance. It's about what's happening in the moment. And those moments of each step down the diving board, that really treacherous moment where you come off one foot on a springboard 10 feet over the water and try to land on the tip and then launch into the air and do multiple twists and somersaults. So that moment, if I'm trying to fight a battle in that moment, there's no success. It's no winning or losing.
And I would imagine too, in that moment, it's no longer about, am I doing this right or wrong?
No.
It's just, I'm just doing it. And
Yes.
Yeah.
And I had that experience once. It was in Los Angeles in 1970 at the United States National Championships, where I, for the first time, became a national champion. And I did a perfect dive. I mean, I didn't know it was a perfect dive, and it didn't score perfect 10s. It got 9s and 9.5s. But from the moment I took that first step, all of a sudden, next thing I knew, I was on the bottom of the pool, 18 feet down, going and wondering, okay, I don't know what just happened. And I came up and they're reading 9s and 9.5s, and I'm a national champion. So trying to recapture that moment of being so totally engrossed, like you were saying, in the moment. And that's the motivating force. I mean, that keeps us going forward, right?
Yeah, and we gave words to it in the 70s and the 80s, you're being in the zone.
In the zone.
It was the
in the
book,
flow.
The Zone, you know. And I always understood that, but I didn't understand it deeply until I started studying this teaching. And so I started understanding quantum physics and understanding this field of energy that when you just allow it, when you surrender to it, it takes you. And there are moments in life where you're just, you know, we're working on a new musical right now that we'll be presenting this in August.
Bells, right?
The bells are swinging. And one of my favorite songs in the show came through me in an instant. And you as a songwriter know, and Robbie, you know that, you Stan, you all know what it's like when you're writing a song. Sometimes it takes weeks. Sometimes you're like, oh, no, what's that lyric? This song, I went into to Nora's room and I picked up the guitar and the entire song came through me. And that's that surrendering to something in you that wants to be known and uses you as the vessel. And when you're willing to be the vessel, it's amazing the trips you go on.
I'm willing to be the vessel. Let's just bring on more of the muse, right?
Yes, right.
Yeah.
More vessel, less critical thinking.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I understand. I'm
Getting
working on
in
that.
my way. Yes, yes.
You're a
Although
good source of inspiration for that object.
my lack of thinking?
I wouldn't put it that way, but
No.
Kevin can help you understand later what I meant.
I'm sure he will. Yes. No, but I know what you mean because I am dedicated to getting out of my own way.
Yes.
I was listening to something, I don't remember what I was, some podcast, and they were saying that the more intelligent you are, the harder it is to get out of your own way.
Yeah.
So it's very hard for
We're
me.
struggling, both of us, yeah.
Both of us are struggling, just struggling up here.
Let's surrender.
Yes, let's surrender to that. Yes. But I did think that in the car. I was like, no wonder it's so hard. I'm so smart. Yes.
Yeah.
Totally, yeah. So shall we do our affirmation before I say anything
Yes,
else?
before we get in any
Yeah.
deeper. So I'll say our affirmation for the day, and then, of course, you know the drill. You'll repeat it, and we'll say it again, but we'll repeat it once. We'll say it universally, and then repeat it once. Not repeat it twice. But the affirmation, I surrender to the joy of living an amazing life.
Wait, before we do it. How do y'all feel about that? You good with this?
You all right?
Anybody want to surrender to the joy of living an amazing life? Great.
Okay, they're
You
ready?
too? You good with it?
I'm good. Let's do it. Ready?
I surrender to the joy of living an amazing life.
Now,
Repeat it.
repeat it. And this time, finding a little more. Doesn't have to be louder, but it's got to be
Look,
more.
Cynthia stood up. Let's all stand.
Oh, yeah. Everybody, let's do
surrender
it.
to
Come
this.
on, let's
Genevieve,
do it.
don't make that face. I said everybody stand, and she went,
Oh, look at, thank you, sir. So,
I can see you all.
and
I surrender to the joy of living an amazing life. Craig Lincoln. Woo! Okay, well, this is one of those Sundays where Stan Galperson has been asked to write a song. He hems and he haws. He says maybe at first, and then he says within an hour usually, right? He usually calls me back and goes, yes, I'll do it. And then he does it. And oh my God, I already got to hear it in rehearsal. So please welcome Stan Galperson.
Okay. So I wasn't exactly a vessel on this one. I didn't have a whole lot of time. So I did struggle with it a bit. And hello? Oh, there you go. So I did struggle with it a bit. And I thought, you know what? If that's your experience, put it in the song. So I did. Anyway, but I want to thank you for asking me again. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for encouraging me in this way. And I want to thank you from all of us for inspiring us with everything you do every single day. Hello. There you go. Okay, so this is called When I Surrender. I was sitting up stressed out late one night, thinking this song, well, it just won't write itself. Then again it might, if I stop holding on to it or way too tight. Maybe by morning it'll see the light of day, and it'll be all right. 'Cause when I surrender and let it go, I find freedom, and I know the sweetest things in life unfold from the seeds I sow. When I remember to just let it flow, when I surrender and let it go, I find freedom, and I know the sweetest things in life unfold from the seeds I sow. When I remember to just let it flow. I get tangled up in these foolish scenes. I really don't understand what they mean. Oh well, I just let them be. It's like everything that I've ever dreamed has all these things in between these days, or so it seems. But when I surrender, let it go, I find freedom, and I know the sweetest things in life unfold from the seeds I sow. When I remember to just let it flow, when I surrender and let it go, come on, I find freedom, and I know sweetest things in life unfold from the seeds I sow. When I remember to just let it flow, when I remember to just let it flow, when I remember to just let it flow. Thank you all. I love you so much. Thank you so much.
Woo! I got it. I'm going to ask you to stay up for 1 second.
Of course you are.
I am. Just take this for 1 second.
Sure.
Just give me those lyrics.
When I surrender and let it go,
Yep.
I find freedom, and I know
Yeah.
the sweetest things in life unfold from the seeds I sow. When I remember to just let it flow.
Now, what were you saying in the other verse about the things going on? And
What did I
those
say?
lyrics?
I get tangled up in these foolish scenes. I really don't understand what they mean. Oh well, I'll just let them be.
Anybody? Yeah, that's what I wanted. Thank you, Stan. Yeah. So, I want to bring up the affirmation. So if you give me that first slide there, Thor. Thank you. I surrender. Oh, wait, is that the. Did you switch that up? There you go, thank you. I surrender to the joy of living an amazing life. So, when I was putting my talk together today, I thought about the month that we have ahead of us of surrender, and I thought about the affirmation I wrote, which I wrote a few weeks ago. So it was before anything was going on in our world that might have seemed a little disconcerting or joyful for some people. So I surrender to the joy of living an amazing life. And so the question I have for you today is this: is your ability to live an amazing life dependent on something? Just think about that for a second. Is your ability to live an amazing life, to be joyful, dependent on anything happening or going a certain way? Is it dependent on money? Is it dependent on success? Is it dependent on love, relationships? Is it dependent on anything? Can you surrender to the joy of living an amazing life without anything changing in your outer world? Or do you wait to see what's changing to decide what I can be joyful about? So, in 1953, in the Sierra Nevada mountains of California, at the very first religious science conference, Ernest Holmes, oh, different one. There you go, thank you. Ernest Holmes gave what is called the seminar lectures. And they were a series of lectures that were later in his life, obviously 1953. So he had evolved from 1927's The Science of Mind, which most people still consider his greatest work. I actually don't. I consider his greatest work the seminar lectures, because he took his life, took everything he wrote in 1927, and distilled it in a much clearer way, and had very uniquely different things to say about what he had been saying for many, many years. So take a look at this quote. He said, "We believe everything that science teaches us that we can prove to be true, but we correlate that knowledge with a greater concept." So when we talk about the science of mind, Ernest Holmes was very interested in making sure that we were understanding science. We understood the science of the mind. Now, not just the mind. Remember, the mind is the consciousness that you are a part of. Your brain, this isn't called the science of the brain. So yeah, we get to know more and more and more about the brain, but the brain is just a vessel being used by the mind. Your individual mind. Each person sitting here has an individual mind. But the concept, the greater concept that Ernest Holmes is talking about, is that each person sitting here with their own individual mind is connected to, part of, one of the entire mind. This breathtaking, unlimited, beautiful, loving consciousness. Each one of us has all of that to use in our one individuated mind. So yes, science comes along and tells us this and this and this and this, and there's the observer effect and the split, whatever that thing was, all of that stuff we learn in quantum physics that goes in this here and out the other. All of that is held in the hands of one word. My next slide. Wholeness. Wholeness. Here we are, the 4th of July weekend, celebrating freedom. And there seems to be a question about that freedom for many people. There seems to be a question about individual freedoms, world freedoms, countries' freedoms. And yet, what Ernest Holmes said was, amidst all of the information you are getting, there's this, wholeness. You are held in an infinite concept and an infinite flow, let it flow, an infinite field of pure love, pure intelligence, pure wisdom, pure knowing. All of that is who you are. So we can talk ourselves till we're blue in the face and talk about all of our uniquely different perspectives on things, and we can inhabit the world of form and all the things going on and take sides and create divisions, all of this, and it doesn't change this at all. The only thing that changes in this idea of wholeness is whether or not you're willing to live there or here. I get very emotional when I say this because I've lived there, and it's a neighborhood I really choose not to live in anymore. I would much rather live here. The real estate's much better. It is so much fuller, freer, more loving to live here and to still notice my neighbors, the relative neighbors, the relatives. Still notice my relatives, but I don't have to live with them. That's what I'm asking you to look at on this 4th of July. So the answer to the question, is your ability to live an amazing life dependent on something? And I think that is the next slide, isn't it? No, go back. Sorry. Is your ability to live an amazing life dependent on something? The answer is yes, it is. It actually is. But it's not dependent on anything out here. But do you have the capacity to live an amazing life? To live in the joy of an amazing life? Yes, you do. It means you live there. It means this. Remember who you are. That's what it's dependent upon. Because if you remember yourself to be something other than the truth, other than this infinite field of pure possibility, then you are relegated to have joy, sadness, happiness, success, failure, stress, fighting, arguing, division, all the things that this world has in store for all of us is all available to you to be a part of when you don't remember who you are. But when you move to this neighborhood and you are living in wholeness and you remember who you are at all times, it doesn't mean this goes away. It means you understand it. You are able to live through it. And it does not stop you. It does not block you. How many people here have had any challenging thing in their life that really seemed insurmountable, ever in their whole life? Most of us have had something show up, an addiction, someone passes away, or losing a job, losing health, losing major health capacities. So many things that can go on. Does that mean that has changed who we are? No. It means the relative world has changed in some way, shape, or form. And people say, my faith got me through it. And I think what they mean is that something outside of themselves got them through it. My belief that God will get me through it. Well, I can still translate that correctly. My belief that God will get me through it. It's just that I know when I say God will get me through it, it means that there is that in me that knows the truth, that will move through it, rise above it, understand it. So our job on this day, on the 4th of July weekend, is to start really getting a sense of what do we mean when we talk about freedom? What does it mean to talk about freedom? What does it mean to be free? I don't believe we can be free at all unless we live in wholeness, unless we understand the truth of what Ernest Holmes said, the truth that holds everything together of who I am. So last week was not a fun week to be a minister. To get up on last Sunday, I was in Palm Desert last Sunday, to get up on Sunday after the Roe v. Wade decision came in. That was on Friday, and I got phone calls from some of my ministers saying, oh my God, now how do we deal with this? How do we approach this? And frankly, the first thing we needed to do to understand is that it's a decision that was made, and there are people that are very happy with the decision, and there are people that are not happy with the decision. And to take one side over the other means that we don't understand it spiritually and understand it from the perspective of wholeness. Now, the irony is that I had just come back from New York. We had just gone to New York. We saw 4 Broadway shows in 4 days. It was like phenomenal. We finished on Thursday, we got up on Friday, and Roe v. Wade was turned. And I was like, well, that starts a whole new chapter for this weekend. But we also, and I didn't tell any of you this, I told the last week's congregation, when we got to New York, Kevin and I checked into our hotel at 3 a.m., and usually we get an upgrade if there's this little suite available or something. And he was like, there are no suites available. He said, so, but I'll have one tomorrow. And I was like, it's 3 a.m. I'll sleep on a floor and wait for it. It's fine. So and then he's thinking, and then he gives us another one, and he says, you know what? Here, I found one. So we go upstairs, and it's the 45th floor, which is great, right above Times Square. And so we walk in, and we walked into a lobby. And I said, oh, this must be one of those places where like they have all these little suites in its own little lobby. It wasn't. It was the presidential suite. And it was the lobby of the presidential suite. We turned the lights on, and we were like, ah! Like 30-foot windows, ceiling to floor, the entire city's at our disposal. Huge living room. Over here's a dining room for 12, kitchen, a bar for when we hire a bartender, I guess, here. Then we're walking around the living room, and I turned to Kevin. I said, you need to go down and see if they've made a mistake, because I really don't want to get used to this and then find out he put us in the wrong room. And so Kevin goes down, and he's walking towards the guy at the desk. And the guy at the desk goes, something wrong with the room? And Kevin's like, no, just making sure you meant to give us that. And what do you drink? Because we'll buy you something very nice for this. So anyway, that was just the beginning of it, because we thought that was the room. And then we went in and saw the beautiful bedroom, which like big windows and all. But there was a staircase. And I thought, it must go somewhere. So we take the staircase up to the second floor, another beautiful lobby with like a desk, I guess for our secretary to sit there, a desk, and then looking down the hallway, this huge, gorgeous office, which Kevin took over for the week, and then this huge master bedroom with a closet that would make Imelda Marcus think she had died and gone to heaven. It like had a huge closet. Look, it was like another apartment in New York City. Then this bathroom. It had shower heads everywhere. There were like 4 on top of us, 4 on each side. You press the button, you're like, ah! You're like. This was Sunday at 3 a.m. We literally, and it wasn't like that's yours till tomorrow. All week, we had it all week. So of course we threw a party Tuesday night. One of our friends came in and went, ministry's doing well. And I said, it is, in fact. Ministry is doing well. Because what do you think got this? Consciousness. Not money. And Bonvoy points. No, but consciousness. And I finally got it, and I said to Kevin, I said, here's the deal. We do not just land places arbitrarily. We land places because there's something for us to know. And what I knew in that moment was I was equal to this. I said, I am so equal to this. I even said, we got to figure out how much this costs when we come back. Did we ever find out? No. Probably too afraid to ask. $10,000 a night, not a problem. But I thought about it. I thought for all of us, I was like, I think we think too small. I think we sometimes still have a little bit of a ceiling. Like, why was my reaction like, how did this happen? It's like, I know how this happened. And then Friday hits, and I'm like, and now I'm going to have to deal with all of this, and I'm going to have to deal with all of this with a lot of people who are upset, and some people that aren't upset. And then the people that are upset with the people who aren't upset. And the people that aren't upset, annoyed that the people are upset, are in the same church. So it was not an easy Sunday. And I thought, and you can all go watch it online, I thought I gave one of the most eloquent, balanced, tightrope walking talks I've ever had to give. Because, Palm Desert, they're pretty equally divided there in terms of red and blue and conservative and liberal. And it doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter what I am. I mean, obviously, you're going to just assume I'm more on the liberal side, but I actually am kind of right in the middle. I actually am not a far liberal or a far conservative. I am like in the middle thinking that everyone can come together and figure this out. That's how I approach all of this. And so I gave my talk, and when the talk was over, I got in line to say hi to everybody, and oh my, I was not prepared for getting really yelled at. Because what I realized was, it's not a topic that's easy to talk about from this perspective. If I am not standing up for what you believe, you're annoyed. And if I'm not standing up for what you believed, you're annoyed. But you know what? Here's the thing. I'm standing up for that. I am not standing up for either side. I have my opinions, and I will vote my opinions, and I will march, and I will do whatever I need to do for my opinions. But as a spiritual director, I stand for one thing: wholeness, unity, that we all put this together. So it was a very challenging Sunday, and it's been a challenging week, but I don't say challenging in such a bad way. I don't. It challenged me, and it made me think. And I started thinking about my political views, my social views. One person came through the line and said, I would really like you to watch Fox News tonight and hear why this decision changes nothing. And I didn't know exactly what to say. And I said, well, but that would kind of be like me telling you to watch Rachel Maddow, and she'll tell you how everything works. I said, that's not what we're here to do. We're not here to convince one another that our opinions need to be changed. We're here to love one another, support one another, be willing to listen to one another. And I remind you that this Wednesday night is Let's Talk. Of course, when we scheduled Let's Talk, I didn't know we'd have so much to talk about. But we have that on Wednesday night. Please show up. It's on Zoom. Just show up. Everyone's voice is needed from both sides of the aisle and the middle of the aisle as well. So, go to the next slide. So surrender, this month of surrender. Surrender means cease resistance to an enemy or opponent. Our philosophy asks us to love only. That's what it's asking. Surrender this month, if the definition itself says cease resistance to an enemy or an opponent, we need to stop seeing enemies. We need to stop seeing opponents. We need to just see people. We need to see people making their way, no matter what. I was driving home last night from a wedding rehearsal, a beautiful wedding rehearsal. And yes, I have a Biden sticker on the back of my car. I've had it since the election. And a car drove up next to me, and whoever was in the car, they all put their windows down and gave me the finger, and then started to try to push me off the road. This is what happened last night. But my reaction was not like, I didn't roll down the window and go, yeah. I didn't. I was like, whatever. I just kept driving, and I was like, you know what? They have a right to their opinion. They don't have a right to run me off the road, but they have a right to their opinion. And I just kept driving, and life just unfolded perfectly. Traffic came, somebody cut them off, and I just kept driving. I had to drive home. But it made me think. It really made me think about what I was going to talk about when I got up here today. Because there are people, even in this congregation, that believe that I should get up here and speak my political thoughts, that I should be standing up for a woman's right to choose, or I should be standing up for gay marriage. I never stood up for gay marriage, even when gay marriage was on the ballot. I spoke for truth and for that it would unfold perfectly. And I believe it has, and I believe it always will. All things. Well, that's not my job. My job's not to come up here and talk about politics or to talk about my opinions. But my job really is to talk about love. And my job really is to talk about getting rid of the opponents, getting rid of the enemies. Because if you're walking around believing there's an enemy in anything, you're out here. You're not over here. Because if you were over here, you wouldn't see enemies. You would just see people with maybe differences of opinions than yours. And you may even feel like something's going on, taking something from you, but that's also because you believe something can be taken away. I don't. In this concept of wholeness, nothing can be ever taken away from you. Well, does that mean we don't get to speak our voice? No, it does not. We do speak our voice. And I think it's a very important country that we live in. You need to do what you feel is right to do. But while you're doing it, we must stay centered in wholeness. Life will change dramatically. What you do and how you do it sends ripples into the world. We are a vibratory existence. So what you vibrate from, if you vibrate from anger, you vibrate from enemy mentality, you vibrate from separation, if you vibrate from that, that's what you are adding to the world. But if you are willing to stay in wholeness and peace and love, still making the choices you make, still standing up for what you stand up for. When Ernest Holmes says, show me a man who is for something and against nothing, and I will show you the next Jesus, the next Buddha, the next Muhammad. I want to be that. And I would like to know that you all want to be that. Standing for something, for love. And so yes, if you're on this side of the equation and you believe in a woman's right to choose, then you stand up for that, from wholeness, not from anger. And if you believe in the right to life and you believe on this side of the equation, then you stand for that, not from anger or hatred for something else. That's what we're being asked to do. Not take sides, but to pick the side that you want to be on in terms of, do you want to live in the wholeness of life or do you want to live in the resistance of life? So the title of my talk today is Give It Up. Give it up. It is time. And I love that picture. Laurie Savage sent me. That's such a beautiful picture. That is me. I want to be right there on that mountain with nothing else around me but God. Just space and energy and love. Knowing everything that's going on in the world and bringing all of it to play from this consciousness. Because when I say give it up, I mean give it over to this unlimited potential that this universe has to always self-correct, to always unfold perfectly. Yes, something may happen today that you don't like. Wait a day. It's going to change. And you know what? All of us here, we are a blip in this quantum field of time. Our children, our children's children, our children's children's children, the world they're going to inhabit is going to be much different than our world, and I believe they are on the verge of taking us to a much better place, because I think we are always moving to a much greater place. So this next quote by Mahatma Gandhi, freedom is not worth having if it does not include the freedom to make mistakes. How many people here have ever made a mistake in their life? Now let me ask you this. How many of you have trouble when you make mistakes? How many people do? I know. How many people don't like making mistakes and don't like, how many people have a hard time admitting they've made a mistake? I just saw, right? Mistakes, it's not a mistake. Ernest Holmes says there are no mistakes. There are none being made. There never will be any mistakes. Mistakes are nothing more than life unfolding perfectly. And how many mistakes do we have to make in order to find what's real in something? That's just the process. So, I love that quote. And the final quote is this, by William Faulkner. We must be free not because we claim freedom, but because we practice it. You can go out and scream and rant and rave and fight all you want for the freedoms that you believe are yours to have. But somehow I think when that happens, we have lost sight of the true freedom we have, which is the freedom of mind, the freedom to think, the freedom to know, the freedom to live in this place called wholeness. As Ernest Holmes says, no matter what's going on in the world, there is always going to be something going on. A truth, a vibrant truth that will hold you in place, concretize you, put you in that place of knowing. So if we are willing to practice this thing that we come here on Sundays to celebrate, if we are willing to practice wholeness, if we are willing to practice remembering who we are, taking that breath before we say what we're about to say, remembering who we are, and then coming from this one absolute truth that will never change, I believe we will transform the world. Because the minute Genevieve does it, that ripple moves out, and then her mother does it in Connecticut. And then all the people around find and feel that vibration. We are the people. We are the ones. It is time for us to be that one person who is for something and against nothing. Then we can let freedom ring. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you. Let's take a deep breath. You have nothing to do you? Okay. Okay. So this is our giving time. Money to me is God in action. That's what we teach. Money is not something that I have to fear about or worry about. I know what money is. It's energy. It is constant. It is everywhere. And one of the things that I know is mine to do in this center is to help people realize that, to help people stay away from what's going on now in our world when we talk about recession and all the negatives and all the depletions. I see it. I understand it. But again, it is up to us to know the truth. And let's just look at these words together. Let's read these together. Divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, prosper, and bless. It is evidence of my conviction that God is the source and substance of my supply. I joyously contribute to the vision of my spiritual center, knowing that it returns to me multiplied abundantly. Now think about those words for a moment. And I want you to pay attention as you give today. Are you giving from a sense of knowing? Are you giving from a sense of prosperity? Make sure that you start to understand that this world is not in charge of your prosperity. You're in charge of this world. Your mind needs to be clear. So when you give this today, whatever it is you are giving, give it from that wholehearted sense of pure prosperity and infinite understanding that life is only unfolding to my highest and best. What? I've got a roof over my head. I've got a warm place to sleep. Some nights I lie awake counting sheep instead of counting sheep. I've got a heart that can hold love. I've got a mind that can think sometimes. There may be times when I lose the light and let my spirit sink, but I can't stay depressed when I remember how I'm blessed. Everybody, grateful, grateful, truly grateful I am. Grateful, grateful, truly blessed and duly grateful.
Truly blessed and duly grateful. Grateful for this wave of energy in the form of contribution, in the form of monetary stuff. The wave that's really just the tip of a huge wave that's part of a huge ocean that flows effortlessly and endlessly. And now as this wave washes up on the shore of the Global Truth Center, knowing that its power and its moisture and its nourishing energy serves the greater purpose that each of us serves through this center, through the work that's done here, through everybody that makes it happen. And in gratitude, I'm just able to say, let it flow. And so it is.
So join us, everyone. Grateful, grateful, truly grateful I am. Grateful, grateful, truly blessed and duly grateful. Truly blessed and
And here are your Global Truth Center announcements. Happy birthday this week to Gayla Beeren, Dr. Lori Savage, Jan Haas, Lauren Davison, Dr. Julio Hernandez, and Karina Stebbins. Coming up on the calendar, this Wednesday, July 6th, join us at 6 p.m. for the return of Let's Talk, with our topic this month, what is our country coming to? If you have questions, thoughts, or want to be part of an amazing hour of thoughtful consciousness, join us for Let's Talk. You'll find the Zoom link on our website's calendar page. On Sunday, July 10th, the Wisdom Women's Group will have their monthly meeting at 12 noon, right after our Sunday celebration. This month's special presenter is Ann Monahan. Finally, our next Wine and Wisdom event is Friday, July 15th, and will be hosted by Dr. James and Reverend Liza. The fun-filled evening will be held in Thousand Oaks at the lovely home of Reverend Liza. Have a fantastic week and a happy 4th of July, everyone.
Thank you, Thor. So we have a couple of wonderful certificates to give out. Putting it together is the last class that we had this year in Consciousness Studies 1, and most of those certificates were given out. But Tina Gidali, are you here, Tina? No, but I know that Jill Micel is here. So Jill, would you come up and grab your certificate? Thank you, sweetie. And the power of belief was taught by Reverend Liza and Reverend Eric, so if you would come up and give out your certificates.
Ooh, we've got certificates to give.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Go ahead. Well, is Gayla here?
Gayla went out of town.
Celebrating a birthday. But I know Christy Botkin-Reeves.
Lisa Carey.
I think Lisa's out of town,
She's
too.
out of town as well.
She's out of town. Okay, Swan Draper.
Swan is out of town.
Everyone's out of town.
But we told them all that we would read their names because they're
Can we say
watching.
this together? Joe Jordan.
Oh,
We'll bring it down to
yeah, take it to her. No, she's got it. We're taking it to her.
There you go.
Ready? It's the show.
Oh, Judy.
Do you want to take it? I'll take it to her.
Judy McCaskill.
You are welcome. Thank you. And would you come on up here, Reverend Kirby? So Reverend Kirby and I have just spent 2 years together. She has assisted me in teaching the practitioner class, the new practitioner class. And I'm going to ask all of these students to come up here and stay up on the stage. Just make a line right behind us. Let's go way over here. They can make a line. Okay, Francisco Vargas. Karina Stebbins. Okay, now these two people, they have taken class all the way from Seattle. Am I correct with that? It's Seattle, right? Redmond. Okay, I know they're online watching. There's their pictures. Well, two of them, Pam and Gary. Pam and Gary Ninneman. And then taking class all the way from Florida is Ron LeMay. Woohoo!
Want me to help?
Yes, okay. Diane Kerman.
Yay!
Rebecca Kemmerer, but she is not here.
She is.
Oh,
She's
here.
right there.
Oh, come on up. I thought you were going. Now, the thing about Becky Kemmerer is that she became a practitioner when I became a practitioner 150 years ago at the Los Angeles Center, and she just went through 2 years of taking it all over again to just see where are we now. So I give you great credit for doing that. And then one of the new thorns in my side, Genevieve Joy. Mr. Doug Draper. Mr. Draper is home recovering from his COVID experience, so he is not here today. But I don't know, can you even come down here? Thor Shalgren. Where's your wife? I'm giving this to your wife. There you go. Christy Botkins Reeves.
She's been busy.
So what I want to say is it takes a lot. It takes a lot of dedication, stamina, courage to go through 2 years, well, to spend 2 years with me first, but to go through 2 years of practitioner studies. The first year is called How Life Got to Be This Way, and they spend the entire year turning their whole world upside down, figuring out how did their life get to be the way it is. And then the second year is all about choice, understanding that it's a way of life. Choice is a way of life. And I just have to say this class, everyone in this class, and including Scott Gibb, who was a part of this class, but can I say this? He chose not to take the test at the end and said, I'm good. So, but I do want to honor all the work he put in for 2 years as well.
Absolutely.
Yes. But the dedication, and now what they're all about to embark on is what is called the practicum, which means they meet with me for a few months at different times to learn how to take everything they've learned about being a practitioner of religious science and use it out in the world. And I am just so grateful to every single one of you for being willing to take this teaching and to live this teaching and to know how to use it and to show us all how to live from it. So please, one more round of applause.
And
Oh, go ahead. Okay. Yes, go ahead. Go ahead. Okay, good. Thank you, guys.
but wait,
What?
there's more. So one of the assignments that the students were given was to create a prayer for the world
Yes.
that could be used by anyone. And Dr. James spent, as he reported to us, the evening being blessed by the amazing consciousness of this class. And as any of you might know who has taken classes with Dr. James, how he loves his PowerPoints. And he has such joy putting them together, and we love them. And so the thought occurred to us that we would put together in book form a present, the class practitioner gift to Dr. James of the Book of Prayers from the practitioner class of 2022.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna cry. That. Oh.
So it says, Dr. James, we thank you. This book of prayers is our thank you to you for your powerful and loving leadership. You have taught us so much, and we are ever grateful. Love only, practitioner class of 2022.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Love you too. Okay, we got to bring the service to a close. Thank you, Kirby.
You're welcome.
Okay. It's rare that you find me speechless, but I seem to have been rendered a little speechless here. So, I'm just grateful that this center is here. I'm grateful that the philosophy is here, and I'm so grateful to all of the practitioners, all of the ministers. that have really upped their game this year, and certainly my new ministers, upping the game of where we're going. And I got to tell you, you really haven't even begun to see where we're going to go. And I'm so excited about that. So everybody take a deep breath. Oh, children. Yes. Sorry. Give me one little thing there. Yes, come up. Oh my God, that's beautiful. Okay. God, what are you going to tell them, Lex? Oh, sorry, this isn't on. Say it louder.
Surrender.
What did you surrender to today?
Do you want to just tell them what you wanted to tell them?
Go ahead.
These clay thingies.
These clay things. Can I show them all? Oh, no, I can't. It's stuck to your hand.
Stuck to her hand.
It's really, where do you see this, Tiffany?
Microphone at it?
I am. Could you say something? Yeah. That's beautiful, Connie. And this is beautiful, too. Did you do that one?
This is something Lexi just did. It's
Lexi, this is gorgeous. Oh, it moves if I move
moves.
it.
Don't move it too much because it'll drip on the
You
floor.
need to get a picture of this so you can
We'll get
frame it.
pictures of it
It's
for sure.
gorgeous. Good.
So essentially what we did today was we continued our fun from yesterday. Yesterday in the pool, we played a game where we were pulling all the leaves out of the pool. And then we realized that the tree kept dropping leaves on us, and it was a never-ending process, and we decided to surrender to that process. We just, as I surrendered to my boss. We surrendered to the process and decided it's a game. We're going to keep collecting leaves. And then we promised that we were going to use our leaves today for our lesson. And what we did today was we made our own Play-Doh. We made what we thought were snakes that now kind of look like something else. And we put them on the leaves so that we made sure we used the leaves. And we decided that that was surrendering to what we had available to us so that we could be as creative as we could to have as much fun as
So
we
are these
could
from
in
my
that
pool?
moment. These leaves are from your pool.
Aw. Now they're not in the pool.
Now they're not in the pool.
Even better.
Lexi, do you want to give them your definition? Sure. Okay, cool. Definition of surrender is?
If something doesn't go the right way, that you're not negative about it.
Oh, so if something doesn't go the right way, you don't get negative about it, you just let it go. Excellent. Good. Okay. Thank you. Thanks, Lexi. Okay, everybody. I invite you all to stand. Oh, yes, consciousness on demand. God, there's so much to do. Treatment today will be with, I almost said it, Reverend Eric Bork. With Eric Bork and Amy. So you're going to be where? Downstairs. Amy will be downstairs in my counseling room. Eric will be up here in the meditation room. Please join them. If anything came up today you'd like some clarity on, join them. The rest of you, go ahead and stand up and let's take this home. Ready, Carol?
I sure am. I'm surrendering to the process. All right. There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all by myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient, and I didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you're discouraged and struggling just to make it through another day, then let it go.
Yeah.
Let it go. And this is what you got to say.
I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here as God. I'm no more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here as God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my Spirit run my life. My heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here as God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light.
Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here as God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here as
Carol?
God.
Have a great 4th of July, everybody.